The S-Force archetype is one of the most unique archetypes in the game's history in the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. For those who do not know anything about the S-Force archetype, it's an archetype where they specialize in suppressing the opponent's plays simply by spewing out a bunch of floodgates, as well as moving your opponent's board all over. Like, you guys know, you guys all already know. They have basically suppression effects, if you will. And in the newest core set, Chaos Origin, we are going to be talking about some new support that has been added to the set. And honestly, I'm actually kind of excited because I never would have expected Konami to announce any new S4 support. But here we are. Excuse me. And if you guys are not aware, this is actually... And for those who are new to the channel and know nothing about the S-Force archetype, it's a link-based archetype that revolves around, well, link summoning and essentially just making your board with just filling your board with a bunch of floodgates, if you will, which is kind of insane. But I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get straight into it because there are 5 cards to talk about in this video, and this will be the last batch of cards that will be in Chaos Origin, at least until we get potentially some other shit that we could get for the set, like maybe world premiere cards, OCG imports, TCG exclusives, or whatever. So first one up is S-Force Night Slayer. And the S in S-Force stands for Security Force, which is kind of a niche lore, if you will. Excuse me. So there's the card, and it is a Dark Psychic Link 2 with 1700 attack, and its arrows are left and right, and requires 2 monsters, including an S-Force monster. Both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if this card is special summoned, you can add 1 S-Force spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Second effect, which is a quick effect, reads, you can banish the card you control and 1 S-Force card from your hand. Special summon 1 S-Force monster from your deck or extra deck except this card. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I am like super tired right now. Anyway, basically this is your spell trap rota for the entire deck, and it also gives you a free body. Literally, all you do is you banish this card from your field, and a card in your hand, which has to be an S-Force card, so you can send any S-Force monster. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. You can send any S-Force monster, spell, or trap to your banish pile, and you get to summon out another S-Force monster from either your main deck or your extra deck, which theoretically you can target the deck's boss monster, and you would have yourself a powerful board, a powerful body on board, just to overpower your opponent, which is kind of insane. And because that this card also has as well Spell Trap Rota, you can search out the deck's field spell, and that right there can get you your floodgates, which even that alone is insane. Next up, we've got S-Force Mystify, which is a Light Cyber's Link 3 with 2700 attack, and its arrows are left, bottom, and right. and acquires 2 or more monsters, including an S-Force monster. And its second effect is a once per turn. The first effect reads, while an opponent's monster is in this card's column, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, they cannot special summon monsters using activated monster effects. Second effect reads, you can target a monster on the field, move it to another of its controller's main monster zones. This is a quick effect. So here's what's cool. It's, as I said, the idea of the S-Force deck is to spam your board with a bunch of monsters that essentially have floodgate effects, and as long as you're able to protect your board with your back row and your excuse me, and your hand traps, you'll have yourself a very powerful board. Enough said. To be honest, I'm not really a fond of the S-Force archetype, just because I feel like it's a bit too slow for the current meta. I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, I feel like it's a bit too slow. It's not slow for by standards of Master Duel, but in terms of the competitive TCG, kind of slow in my personal opinion. Next up, we've got S-Force Sorted World, which is a continuous trap. And both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if you would banish a card from the hand to activate the effect of an S-Force monster you control, you can send one S-Force card from your deck to the grave instead, except this card. Second effect reads, if another card becomes banished, or you can target one card in your opponent's field or grave, banish it, then you can move one of your S-Force monsters to another of your main monster zones. Again, this is a floodgate that ensures that you don't banish any cards in your hands. You essentially just get to foolish burial your cards to your graveyard to get off any of their graveyard effects, and then move your shit to any one of your other main monster zones, which is insane. Enough said. And what's even more cool about this card is that, again, this is a floodgate. This is essentially a floodgate where it benefits you more than it does your opponent. Because if this deck goes up against a deck like, let's say, just to put it out there, like let's say for example it goes up against Mech Knight Invoked. What does a deck like this do to a deck excuse me, to a deck like Mech Knight Invoked? It does nothing, because the Mech Knight archetype revolves around so many monsters in zones in columns that have multiple cards in the same column, if that makes sense, which is insane. Moving on. There are still 2 more cards to talk about in this video. So the next one up is S-Force Cygnus. Now, I'm probably butchering the name, so I do apologize. But it is a 3-star light warrior. Yes, a 3-star light warrior with 1600 attack, 0 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one S-Force monster from your deck to your hand. Except this card. Then if an opponent's monster is in this card's column, you can draw one card. Second effect reads, if an opponent's monster activates its effect in the same column as your monster, you can make all S-Force monsters you currently control gain 1,000 attack. Let's just be real, right? Let's just keep it real. This card's first effect, it's a pot of greed. Not only do you get to search your deck, but you also get to draw an additional card, which essentially becomes your pot of greed, which is nuts, absolutely nuts. And what's even more cool is that this is your new combo starter, where if you're going second, which this deck, hypothetically speaking, you would want to go second to try to establish your board, because once you start to establish your board, if you have extra negates that they can use against your opponent, then yes, you would want to use them on your opponent to stop them from stopping your plays. Then this card is going to be cracked. So this is going to be your new combo starter for the entire deck, which is absolutely broken. The last card of the video is known as S-Force Origin. Which is a normal spell, and both of its effects are once per turn. There we go. Sorry guys, I had to adjust the screen so you guys can actually see the card in full. And the first effect reads... Sorry guys, there was something on my nose. Moving on, I apologize, moving on. First effect reads, special summon one S-Force monster from your hand grave or banishment, but banish it when it leaves the field. Second effect reads, if another card becomes banished while this card is in your grave, you can banish it and take two S-Force cards from your deck, except this card. Banish one and send the other to the grave. So, how do you bypass the banish effect? It's the one question that I've asked multiple times on this channel, and the answer is always the same. You use the monster as Xyz material. So if you end up summoning a level 4 S-Force monster, and you have an additional level 4 monster on board, you can overlay them for cards like Baguska. You can summon out you can summon out number 104 Masquerade, which if you have a third S-Force monster on board, you can actually summon it. Interestingly enough, I actually have both its original form and its chaos form and a penny sleeve. So here's number 104 Masquerade, and then of course this. Shoutouts to Bear Cave CCG for hooking me up with both these cards. Shoutouts to them. I am looking to do sort of like a lore video, if you will, on the 7 Barian Emperors from the Zexal anime. The only problem is that I am missing Chaos number 106 Giant Red Hand. I'm still missing that card. Hopefully I can find it over at Bear Cave tomorrow. Hopefully I will, but we will see. But I need to watch the entire Zexal anime first to do in order to do the lore video. Excuse me. Which could be interesting, but not as interesting as this. You guys see it? the Signer Dragons, and then of course the Earthbound Immortals. I am looking to do a lore video, if you will, on the Signers versus the Dark Signers, which for that I would have to watch 5Ds. So hopefully I can get to those relatively soon. But I will be doing those videos, so be sure to get ready for those, because those are going to be some interesting videos to say the very least. But yeah, if you have a way to summon out Masquerade and then rank it up into Chaos 104 Umbral Horror Masquerade, that you essentially will have yourself an Omni Negate right off the bat, which is insane. But my thoughts on the new cards, they seem fine. I know that the Pot of Greed effect off of Cygnus is pretty busted, but to be fair, I don't think S-Force was ever a meta contender. But with these cards, it's very possible. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Unless if someone out there makes a deck and posts it on social media, then I would definitely consider this deck being a meta contender. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.